content, that knowledge, but we've got to give the students a chance to explore that knowledge, make it meaningful to the real world in which we live in.
So I make sure that I plan challenging but supportive lessons. I differentiate the work based on the children and their understanding of a topic. I make sure my lessons are engaging and creative and they're innovative so that the children enjoy what they're doing. I make sure my learning is all like child-centred learning, and I take a very holistic approach to my teaching method. So I look at the child as a whole, like their social, emotional, behavioural needs as well as their academic needs, and I factor all that in when I'm doing my planning. I make sure I know each of my children on an individual level, and I have a really good relationship with them, so I know if there's anything that's worrying them or if there's something going on in their life that, you know, if they're not performing well one day, they come and talk to me and tell me why, and we can work through it, or they're always very comfortable in telling me if there's something that they don't understand. So for me, that all is really good at helping me to plan my lessons, so I know what their needs are.
But also, I aim to make students feel successful as much as possible. And if that means that one student has one task to do that they can then feel successful at versus another student with a very different task, then that's how it will go in my classroom. And I also want them to have aha moments where they it clicks in their brain and then they're able to say, oh, I get it, I understand now. I also want to move away, and I do in lesson, from comparing to other students. A lot of students like to go, who else got this mark? Who got the highest mark? But I really try to have their focus beyond what is my personal best and what can I achieve. Students have to come up with answers in a creative way instead of just answering one question on a test that might be a recall question. We also do practice exam style questions because the goal always is to be able to perform in an exam setting. We can do art-based assessments or even practicals is another way that we assess students in class.
To a more independent year one where they're expected to sit down, do their work independently. But due to that, we see so much progress in year one, so there's a huge jump from what they can do at the start of the year to what they can achieve at the end of the year. And for me, in year one, that's very rewarding as a teacher to see that progression. Getting to know each child individually, getting to know their strengths and getting to know their targets. So that's the first thing I do in my classroom. But then during lessons, I'm always thinking of ways that they can meet the learning objective in different ways.
Students really interested in geography, give them a passion for the natural world. I guess once they've got that passion for the natural world, then there's more buy-in for them on the subject. Just keeping the activities fresh and new and trying to do different things in the classroom. Play games such as Just a Minute, where students have to talk for a set period of time about the subject, and just try and make it fun and relaxed and a warm environment where they feel comfortable to learn and they feel like they're ready to sort of learn the subject of geography. Reviewing learning at least once every 3 or 4 lessons, which sounds like a lot, but I've got quite a lot of time in my geography lessons in terms of the hours we've been given, which is great. So we will always go back, and then as part of that lesson, love to use loads of questioning, activities that encourage questioning, such as an activity called Student on Trial, where we accuse one student, it's a little bit evil, we accuse one student of knowing nothing about a certain topic, and of course they do, and then they have to plead not guilty and prove their innocence to that.
It gives the students ownership of their own learning. When it comes to the end of the lesson and you've started that lesson with a question and they've managed to reach that answer by themselves, it really helps build their confidence and really gives them a sense of achievement when they've reached that.
You need to find out, what your children like, what they don't like. So, talking to them, finding out, what their interests are. Is it like dinosaurs? Is it cars? Is it, reading? And you sort of find out lots of things from them. So doing lots of talking with them, talking to parents as well, asking the parents, what do your children enjoy doing at home and trying to bring that into the classroom. The thing with the idea of sharing is we have the equipment, we may not always give enough equipment for every child to have, so it allows the children to, one person may have it. You'll always get a child who will literally just go and grab something and try and take it out. We would observe that, and then we may sort of take those children aside and then instead of just saying to the child, oh, you have to share, the child will go, what does that mean? That literally means nothing. So the way we try and do it early is ask questions. So if somebody has snatched something, we might ask the child, so how is that child feeling now? Are they feeling happy? Are they feeling sad? how would you feel if somebody did that? What could you do to make that child feel happy? And someone will say, oh, I'll give it to them, or I'll go there. So instead of just telling the child, and this happens all the way through primary, just saying you have to share, you have to give your toys to somebody else, using lots of simple questions. Sometimes there might be, closed questions, is that a good idea, yes, no, or what I try and do is use open-ended questions, asking about the feelings and stuff.
It gives the children the ownership to choose their level of challenge as well. So it's not just your English isn't very good, so you're not doing this. It's you are in control of how much you're challenging yourself. So if you want to push yourself even further, then you've got the opportunity to do that without me being like, this is yours and this is yours. So it's quite nice to be quite fluid with the differentiation as well. Benefit is just student engagement.
They love their learning, that they're enthusiastic, that it is something that they can relate to themselves, they can reflect on their learning. So I think just making sure that they're excited about what we're doing, and even if it is something that traditionally might be something that they wouldn't be interested in, I would then take a look and take a step back and say, right, how can I engage these children? How can I hook them in? Is it decorating the classroom so that when we start a new topic, for example, next term we're going to be doing the witches, so our classroom will look like a Halloween everywhere, we will have lots of elements from that story so that they feel like it's inspirational when they come in, they're excited, they want to know what's happening next. So it's always about engaging children and making sure that we are in an environment where the children understand that mistakes are helpful. I think the main thing for me that I will assess with a child is how comfortable they are at speaking out and discussing the learning, and how worried they are about getting something wrong.
I also make sure that I create a safe learning space for the children, and sometimes I have a worry box. If there's anything going on, they can put it in the worry box and nobody needs to know about it. And again, that's really important for behaviour because it enables me to know what's going on with a child that day, or in particular why they're behaving a certain way.
Always observing what are they interested in, what are they playing with during their free time, and then I can incorporate that into my lessons. So if we're writing a non-chronological report, I will look at what kind of things the children are interested in. They love flying paper planes at the moment, so let's write a non-chronological report about planes and how planes were invented, rather than choosing something that they might not be interested in.